Why is this the hardest game I've ever played in my life? You know, some video games are easy, some are hard, and some just have those learning curves that take a long time to get used to, or if you're like me, you're never going to get used to. So today we're talking about video game genres that have very hard learning curves. Fighting games. If you're new to the genre, fighting games might look pretty straightforward. Two characters, a handful of moves, and a fight to the finish. But ask any seasoned player, and they'll tell you that beneath that surface simplicity lies an intricate web of mechanics that take hours, days, even years to master. The learning curve in fighting games isn't just about learning each character's moveset. It's about understanding the meta, how different characters and strategies counter each other. It's about mastering frame data, knowing exactly how long a move takes to execute and how long you're vulnerable after using it. And then there's execution. Knowing what to do is one thing, pulling it off under pressure is another. On top of that, you've got psychological warfare. The best fighting game players don't just react, they anticipate. They read their opponent, bait them into making mistakes, and punish them for it. So it's not just about technical skill, it's about mind games too. Fighting games are one of those genres that, as a kid, I loved a lot. I remember on the Sega Genesis, I got Super Street Fighter II Championship Edition, and I loved playing it. But it wasn't until later on, when the internet became a thing and live streaming and videos, that you kind of started to learn that you might not be as good as you thought you were. And that was the case for me. When I watched anybody play Street Fighter or any other fighting game, I realized I'm not very good at this at all. That just the skill that it takes to be very good at fighting games is just, there's so many levels to it. And I just don't have any of those. I button mash. Even if I learn combos, I still don't do them very well. I don't know how to combo them. I'm not good at fighting games. And it's one that has a difficulty learning curve that's just, it takes so much skill. And I don't have that skill.
Smoke, so it could be really rough for Simple to actually get through this. He's going to throw the AWP in. Oh my god! Simple, what is happening?
Tactical shooters like Counter-Strike or Valorant are a completely different beast from your average FPS. These aren't games where you can run around aimlessly and rely on fast reflexes. In tactical shooters, patience, precision, and strategy are everything. You have to master map knowledge, every nook, cranny, and potential angle your enemies can use against you. But it's not just the map, it's also the economy. You've got to manage your team's finances, buy the right weapons and equipment at the right time, make a bad purchase, and it could cripple your team's chances for multiple rounds. Then there's the utility. Smokes, flashes, grenades, special abilities. It's not just about shooting, it's about positioning, cutting off sight lines, and using every tool at your disposal to outsmart the enemy. And let's not forget game sense, the ability to predict where your enemies are based on sound, positioning, and your own team's movements. It's no wonder the skill ceiling in tactical shooters is so high. Tactical shooters, another that I am just not good at. I just don't have the knowledge of these games to play them very well. I remember playing the very early versions of Counter-Strike with my friend and enjoying it, but as the game progressed, I just remember getting less and less good at it because it just became so much more complicated. Guns with certain backfires and ranges and sights, and it all just got so complicated, and I just kind of gave up. If I wanted to play a first-person shooter team-based game, I'm just going to play Overwatch because it's not as complicated. And Overwatch fans, don't come at me. It's just easier than some of the other ones.
Mysteriously disappear.
What?
Or be sent on a walk
I like walking.
into the fog of war.
Fuck.
Real-time strategy games, or RTS, are one of the most mentally demanding genres out there. While tactical shooters require you to make split-second decisions, RTS games require you to manage an entire empire in real time. You're not just controlling a handful of units, you're overseeing economy, military, tech upgrades, and map control all at once. The learning curve in RTS comes from the need to constantly juggle multiple tasks. There's a macro management side. While you're managing your resources, expanding your base, and researching new technologies, every decision you make has long-term consequences. Expand too fast, and you risk overextending. Expand too slow, and you'll fall behind. But then there's micromanagement, controlling individual units during combat. In high-level RTS play, success often comes down to precise control over your units, splitting them to avoid damage, focusing fire, and using special abilities at the exact right moment. It's this balance of long-term strategy and short-term tactics that makes RTS games so challenging, but also incredibly rewarding once you get the hang of it. Real-time strategy games are another one of those where, as a kid, I really enjoyed playing them. Stuff like Age of Empires, I played some StarCraft, only to learn that I am not good at them at all. I do not have the reflexes or the APM to handle playing these games on a high level. If you've ever watched StarCraft 2 or any of the RTS games that are very popular, watch someone on Twitch or on YouTube, you'll see the level at which you need to get to be very, very good at these games. You can play them casually like I do, where I just like to kind of fart around and like move things and just enjoy the game. But when it comes to being very good at RTSs, it's a whole nother level, and I'm not there.
What is this misfortune? I'm gonna lose my fucking mind!
MOBAs are some of the most popular and most intimidating genres out there. At first glance, games like League of Legends or Dota 2 seem simple. 5 players on each team, pushing lanes and taking down towers. But underneath that straightforward premise lies a depth of strategy that can take hundreds of hours to truly grasp. The learning curve in MOBAs comes from the sheer amount of information you need to absorb. First, there's the champion pool. In a game like League, you get over 150 characters to choose from, each with their own unique abilities, strengths, and weaknesses. You need to understand not just your character, but also how they match up against your opponent's picks. This means learning counter picks, knowing when to engage, when to retreat, and how to build your character based on the situation. Then there's map awareness. MOBAs are all about controlling space, knowing when to push lanes, when to rotate, and when to go for objectives like dragons or towers. And like tactical shooters, MOBAs require team coordination. A single poorly timed ability or miscommunication can lead to a devastating team wipe. And let's not forget the constantly shifting meta. What works one patch may be completely ineffective the next, and staying on top of those changes adds another layer of complexity. MOBAs are one of those game genres that I've just never really gotten into. I just haven't. Because I look at them and I think I don't want to take the time to learn these games. I have friends that play League of Legends, and they make it seem like it is a nightmare to play. It's not fun. They hate it, but at the same time, they play it a lot anyways. But for me, MOBAs are just not one of those I've touched, but I've seen people play them. I've seen high school players play them, and I'm just like, it's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother thing.
Or a hammer down. Go!
Factory management sims like Factorio or Satisfactory are a different kind of challenge. These games aren't about fast reflexes or tactical thinking. They're about optimization, planning, and efficiency. At first, it seems simple. Gather resources, build machines, produce goods, but as your factory grows, the complexity ramps up fast. The learning curve comes from managing logistics. How do you get resources from point A to point B as efficiently as possible? How do you scale up production without bottlenecks? Every little detail matters, from the layout of your machines to the speed of your conveyor belts. One inefficiency can cause the entire system to ground to a halt. And as your factory grows, so do the challenges. You'll need to manage automation, research new technologies, and eventually deal with things like power consumption and resource depletion. The game becomes a puzzle, one that's constantly evolving as you expand and optimize your factory. Factory management sims, another one that I've only played a little bit of, like Factorio or Satisfactory, and I've learned quickly this game is not for me. It takes too much micromanagement, which I hate. I can't do micromanagement, so to play these games is just not fun for me. But the learning curve I can understand and appreciate and respect at how much is involved in playing these games and being good at them, or at least just playing them in a general sense. They're so complicated and complex that I don't find the time. But if you enjoy these games, you know the nuances that come with playing this type of genre and how difficult but rewarding it can be. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate all the love on these videos lately. It's felt good to just kind of get into a normal routine where I'm not uploading every day and can just enjoy the content that I make and make it a little better than it used to be. So thank you for watching. Thanks to all the members. I appreciate you very much. You can become a member for as low as $2, or you can join the Discord. There's all kinds of things you can do. You could subscribe if you want to. But I appreciate you. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe. Bye-bye.